Hi everyone, welcome to English for You. I'm Kat.
I'm Elsie.
And today we are talking about a place called Little Myanmar.
Myanmar.
Yeah.
Ooh, 缅甸.
That's right. So it's Little Myanmar though, so it's not the actual country. We're talking about a part of it that's in Taiwan.
Oh, 所以 Little Myanmar is in Taiwan.
That's right.
Okay.
So it makes me think of a lot of, there's a lot of places in the world where small communities of people from other places,
Yes.
expats, will form together. Can you think of any examples?
There are a lot actually, right?
Tons.
For example, there is a Thai community in Taipei. There is
that's
a
right.
Cambodian community in Taipei. There is an Indonesian
Yeah.
community in Taipei.
Yeah, there's lots of different communities in
Right.
Taipei. I think the notable one in my hometown is Basque.
Basque.
Yeah, they're a group from the north of Spain.
Okay.
They have their own language, they have their own culture. They're not like the same as other Spanish people. So we actually have the biggest Basque population outside of Spain in the world.
Really?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And we have festivals every year. And a lot of my teachers were Basque. Yeah. So there's lots of different examples. Anywhere you go in the world, there's going to be communities like this. So we're going to explore one of our local ones today and why it's important. Let's take a look.
Reading.
Huaxin Street, New Taipei City's Little Myanmar. A line of hungry customers watches as orders of mohinga are served up. As the cook prepares bowls of fish noodles, the waiting customers catch the smell of the spices. Suddenly, in their minds, they are thousands of kilometers away in the busy city of Yangon. Although it's just a 5-minute walk from Nanshijiao MRT station, Huaxin Street feels worlds away from Taiwan. People also know it as Myanmar Street. It's at the center of New Taipei City's Burmese community, one of the largest in the world. Under its row of ornate street signs, Myanmar Street is lined with restaurants and tea shops. Crunchy samosas, which are fried snacks filled with vegetables, are sold by the road. And at lunchtime, customers line up for bright yellow bowls of chicken noodles with turmeric sauce. While on Myanmar Street, it's essential that you try a cup of hot Burmese-style milk tea. This sweet drink has its origins in the 19th century, when Myanmar was a British colony. Like Thai tea, it's made by mixing black tea with sweetened milk and has a delightful taste.
All right, so we start out with kind of a scene. We're setting a scene. Imagine yourself. A line of hungry customers watches as orders of mohinga are served up. So now we have our first word right off the bat. Customer. A customer is a person who goes to a store or business to get services or to buy things. Basically, if you go into a shop wanting to buy something, you're a customer. It's a little bit different from another word that sounds similar, consumer. This is a person who spends money in the economy. A customer is a person shopping. So other words like this might be a guest if you're in a hotel, a patron if you are going to a show or the library, or a client if you are hiring a business to do a task for you. Those are all different kinds of people who need things, buy things. So you're a customer. Here's an example. Our shop had lots of customers today, so we were very busy trying to help them all.
Okay, and we saw this dish called mohinga.
Mohinga. They say it's the national dish of Myanmar. It's basically fish and rice noodle soup.
Oh.
It looks really delicious. They put eggs in it. It's kind of like la mian.
OK，
Yeah.
那这邊呢，一開始我們看到 customer 這個字，它指的是顧客或是客戶。那剛剛 Kat 有提到的 consumer， 注意哦，它指的是消費者，好，兩個意思是不一樣的。那如果你說一個人很常去一家店，他是這家店的常客，你叫他 regular customer。那如果呢，你買了東西想要接受顧客服務，那你需要的是 customer service。那這邊呢，文章開頭我們還看到一個片語是 a line of， 代表是一排、一隊、一列。 這裡是 a line of hungry customers， 一排飢餓的顧客，他們在等什麼呢？當 mohinga 被端上桌的時候，一長排飢餓的客人都在看着。mohinga 指的是魚湯麵。
Aha, so fish noodle soup. All right, so the article says, as the cook prepares bowls of fish noodles, the waiting customers catch the smell of the spices. So it must smell pretty good.
Yeah.
So we're talking about this word spice. All right, spice is a kind of plant that's used for seasoning food and for changing its taste. Often you will, dry it out, grind it up, and turn it into a little thing that you can shake out. That would be spice. So, for example, a spice that many Taiwanese dishes use is 5-spice powder. This includes star anise, clove, cinnamon, fennel, and Sichuan pepper. So that's, some really common spices in Taiwanese or Chinese cooking. Italians use a lot of basil. Thai people have lemongrass, which I love. India uses curry, gali. Americans, we always have black pepper on our tables. I feel like that's one of our spices. There's so many different kinds and they all have different tastes. They all make food taste more interesting. Sometimes they make it taste spicy, la, but not all spices are spicy. It just has to be a plant that helps your food taste different. So for an example, you could say, we put spices in the spaghetti sauce to make it taste rich.
Spice 这個名詞呢，指的是香料、調味品。那像是八角、肉桂、丁香這一些等等的材料、等等的調味，都會變成五香粉這個東西。
That's right.
好，再來我們看到 catch the smell of something， 聞到某個味道。所以當廚師準備好幾碗魚湯麵的時候，等待的客人聞到了香料的味道。Smells good.
It must smell pretty good. And because it smells so good, apparently it does something kind of magical. The article says, suddenly in their minds, they are thousands of kilometers away in the busy city of Yangon.
突然間，他們覺得好像到了数千公里外的忙碌城市，也就是仰光这個地方。
All right. So the article says, although it's just a 5-minute walk from Nanshijiao MRT station, Huaxin Street feels worlds away from Taiwan. So we're not actually in Myanmar at all.
Nope.
We are in Huaxin Street,
Yes.
which is in Nanshijiao, which is in Zhonghe. So we're saying we are worlds away from, which can mean far away, a long, long way away, or it can also mean kind of really, really different.
Right.
It's kind of one of those English hyperboles, those things we say to make things sound more than they are.
Yeah, so to feel worlds away from something or a place 代表是非常不同于某個東西或是某個地方。所以呢，雖然只距離南勢角捷運站5分鐘的腳程，但是華新街跟台灣非常不一樣。They're very different.
Yeah, very, very different. People also know it as Myanmar Street.
大家也稱這條街是 Myanmar Street 緬甸街。
緬甸街。Cool. It's at the center of New Taipei City's Burmese community, one of the largest in the world. That sounds really cool. Let's learn about what a community is. When we talk about a community, we could be talking about a couple of different things. A community could be a group of people who all gather because of something they have in common, or it could be the place where such a group lives. So, for example, you have the LGBTQ community. It's made up of many different kinds of people, all of whom could be called queer. That's the LGBTQ community. You also have communities about hobbies, like Pokemon Go. There's a big community around playing that game. It's around an interest they all have. And there are also communities of people who all come from the same part of the world or the same neighborhood. Like this one, like the community in Huaxin Street. It's all people from Myanmar, and it's all around the same area. That makes them a community. So, an example sentence, the artist community in my town has lots of members who all try to help and support each other.
Community 這個名詞呢，代表群體或是社區、社群。那這邊我們看到的是 Burmese community。Burmese 這個字呢，在這邊當形容詞用，代表緬甸的。那如果它當名詞用的話呢，代表是緬甸人或是緬甸語。那緬甸國家的名稱呢，以前叫做 Burma，那後面呢改為 Myanmar。 好啦，那這邊說到的是，在不同的國家裡面，某個特定的地區可能會有特定的群體居住，所以我們剛剛看到的是 Burmese community 緬甸社區。那像是在美國，你可能會看到 Chinese community 華人社區 Korean community 韓國人的社區等等都會有。那課文中說到的是緬甸街，它在新北市緬甸移民社區的中心，這也是世界上最大的緬甸移民社區。
Yeah, so they're just one of many communities in Taiwan, and they have a really interesting setup in Huaxin Street. The article says, under its row of ornate street signs, Myanmar Street is lined with restaurants and tea shops. Sounds delicious. So ornate here is this word we want to know. Ornate means very decorative and beautiful. It'll have lots of fine details. It could have some fancy writing. It's just really nice to look at and it's very detailed.
沒錯 ，ornate 這個形容詞代表裝飾華麗的，所以呢，在一排裝飾華麗的招牌下，緬甸街上啊，餐廳和茶街都很多。Be lined with 代表的是街道或是路上充滿遍布一排的某個東西。For example, the street is lined with cafes 代表這一條街上都是咖啡廳。
Right, so there's tea shops and restaurants going all down this street.
Yes.
And what do they sell? The article says crunchy samosas, which are fried snacks filled with vegetables, are sold by the road. I love samosas. Samosas are delicious. They're like crunchy fried triangle-shaped dumplings. Usually they have like potato and peas and carrots inside. They're all like with a bunch of spices. They're so good. So they're filled with these things. That means that things like vegetables are put in it until there's not really any space left.
Right, 我们刚刚先看到一個形容詞是 crunchy， 它指的是你吃這個東西的時候，這個東西是鬆脆的，然後它會發出響聲，像是 popcorn，是 popcorn 的時候，你就可以用 crunchy 來形容。那有一些青菜吃起來也是很 crunchy 的，像是 cucumbers 小黃瓜 carrots 紅蘿蔔這些蔬菜。那這邊用到 crunchy 來形容 samosas。然後後面呢，用了逗號加上冠帶 which 帶出形容詞子句來補充說明 samosas 到底是什麼東西 which are fried snacks filled with vegetables 它們是充滿蔬菜的油炸點心
Yeah.
然後我們看到 be filled with 的用法代表充滿簡單的例句給同學哦 The restaurant is filled with customers代表這家餐廳充滿了顧客 Taipei 101 is filled with tourists 台北101充滿了遊客
Yes, that's true.
那這邊如果我們把補充說明的形容詞子句遮掉，我們會看到這句話是 Crunchy samosas are sold by the road，代表鬆脆的 samosas 在路上都有賣。那 samosas 中文我們說是印度咖喱餃。
Except in this case, it's Myanmar samosas. Yeah. So what are we, samosas. I'm really hungry now.
You're hungry now, huh?
I'm really hungry now. And we're going to keep talking about food because the article says, and at lunchtime, customers line up for bright yellow bowls of chicken noodles with turmeric sauce. Ooh, so we were talking about being in a line earlier. Now we're using the phrase line up. That means to get in a line of people to wait for something. Right now, when we recorded this, Don Don Donki just opened in Ximen, and people line up around the block for it every day.
Oh, you mean that Japanese store?
Yeah, it's really popular. Yeah, I haven't been in it yet because the line is too long. Too long for me. But we also have this word turmeric. You saw a hint about it when you saw that it's a bright yellow bowl. Turmeric is a spice that is golden yellow, and it makes things have a stronger flavor. You see it a lot in Indian and Southeast Asian cooking.
我們剛剛說到 line up 這個片語代表排隊陳列，所以例句我們可以說 Excuse me, you need to line up to get into the store. Like the store you just mentioned. 你必須要排隊才可以進到店裡面。所以課文這邊說到的是午餐的時候啊，客人都會為了亮黃色碗裡面裝的薑黃醬雞肉麵來排隊。那薑黃這個字的英文是 turmeric.
So we got chicken soup, we got fish soup, we got samosas. Oh, so many things that you could eat. While on Myanmar Street, it's essential that you try a cup of hot Burmese-style milk tea. Ooh, yum. Love milk tea, no matter where it's from. So essential here is this word that means it's very important. It's something you cannot leave out or forget to do. In this case, the writer means you gotta do it. but it's more like a strong suggestion. Many times, saying something is essential means you must do it. You have no choice. So for example, this part is essential to the computer. The computer won't work without it, so it needs to be there. It's essential. So an example sentence for, more like a, you should do this. It's essential that we see Taipei 101 on our first trip to Taiwan. We can't just skip it.
OK, 那接下来呢，我们会看到 essential 它搭配的句型，也就是我们的英文練功房。Let's take a look. 英文練功房呢，我們要講到的是 it is critical， 或者是 important， 或者是你也可以用剛剛講到的 essential， 或者是 necessary， 加上 that 以及一個子句的結構。那這樣的結構呢，是用來形容說明這個 that 的子句當中啊，所敘述的事件或是行為是必要的或是重要的。那形容詞我們剛剛有說到，你可以用代表重要的 critical, important 或是 essential 或是必要的 necessary, 令人向往的 desirable 都可以。那 that 的子句當中啊，要注意的是呢，主詞出來之後會加上 should， 再加上一個原形動詞，暗示讀者或聽者應該要這樣做，但是通常 should 會被省略掉。So for example, it is important that you follow the rule and do what you are told to do. 可能公司裡面的上司或老闆會告訴你，你應該遵從規則，做你被告知該做的事是重要的。那在這樣的句型當中啊，部分的形容詞也可以改為名詞的寫法哦，像是呢 ，it is of great importance that you finish all of your work by next Friday. 下周五前完成你全部的工作是很重要的。那回到課文，我們說到的是啊，當你在緬甸街的時候，喝一杯緬甸式的熱奶茶是必要的。
All right, so now we're talking about milk tea. Oh, I love milk tea. This sweet drink has its origins in the 19th century when Myanmar was a British colony. So we have a couple important words here. Origin means the beginning of something or where it came from. So you could say the origin of the alphabet is in the Roman Empire. Saying A has its origins in B means A comes from B. It originated, that's the verb, at that time or place. We use this word to talk about the history of something when we might not know where it comes from if you don't tell them. So it sounds like original also, which means the first of something. So an example sentence could be, the origins of fireworks can be found in China, where people used to make them out of sticks of bamboo.
Origin 這個名詞呢，代表起源、來源。那剛剛提到 something has its origins in， 加上時間，那代表那個東西是起源於那個時間的。所以課文這邊說到，這甜甜的飲料起源於19世紀，當時緬甸是 British colony。
So Myanmar used to be a colony of Britain. Colony is a noun that means an area that was once owned by a different country, even though it's its own country. So it comes under the power of another country. So the British had many colonies like Myanmar. They used to own a lot of the world. The US used to be one of them. So did Australia, so did parts of Africa, Hong Kong, India, and so on. Taiwan was also once a colony of Japan.
Right.
So an example sentence might be, the people living in this colony don't like the king and wish that he would let them be their own country.
Colony 這個名詞呢，代表殖民地。那前面我們還看到一個形容詞是 British， 所以 British colony 指的就是英國的殖民地。
So Britain used to own Myanmar. So now they don't anymore. But they brought their tea over there.
Right.
Like Thai tea, it's made by mixing black tea with sweetened milk and has a delightful taste. So delightful here means really good. Something that makes you feel happy. Like if a food is delightful, you're like, oh, this just brightens my soul.
Right? 所以 delightful 這個形容詞呢，代表的是令人愉悅的。所以如果你用它來形容一道菜，代表你吃起來會很開心的感覺。那另外呢，我們還看到一個字，它叫做 sweetened。那它是由 sweet 這個形容詞加上字尾 en， 再加上 ed 變成過去分詞當形容詞用，代表加了糖的。所以 sweetened milk 指的就是煉奶。那它像是泰式奶茶一樣，我們說這個緬甸奶茶跟泰式奶茶是一樣的，他們都用紅茶和煉奶製成，有一種令人愉悅的味道。
Okay.
So would you like a bag of
Burmese tea?
Burmese tea?
Absolutely. I would absolutely try that.
I think it's put in the bag, right?
I think so. Or it could be in a cup. I guess you can have it either way. So that's all we have for day 1. We talked mostly about food, but tomorrow we're going to talk more about the culture and history of Huaxin Street. So let's, for now, go to our For You chat.
For You chat.
So, Kat, you've been in Asia for how many years?
6 years?
6 years?
Something like that, yeah.
Have you ever tried food from Southeast Asia?
Of course I have.
What is your favorite dish, or what would you like to try?
Well, I can say I went on vacation in Malaysia and Singapore. So, of course, I had the local food there. And the Malaysian food, like laksa, is
Laksa.
Yeah, laksa is really, really good.
Oh,
Yeah.
So that is your favorite dish.
Well, it's not my favorite. I think my favorite would probably have to be pho, which is
Pho.
from Vietnam.
河粉, 越南河粉.
Yeah, that's right. I really like pho. Yeah.
Now I want a bowl of pho.
Oh, me too. It sounds really good.
So let's go have some lunch now.
Okay, let's do it. And we will see you all tomorrow with a little more about Myanmar Street. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Vocabulary Review. Customer. The fashion company is always trying to find new customers by designing new clothes. Spice. Indian food is known for using many spices to give a special taste. Community. The city has a growing arts community, which is made up of people from all over the world. Essential. It is essential for all animals to drink water, otherwise they'll die. Origin. Even though they are now very different, the origins of the modern car can be found in horses and carts. Colony. Britain had many colonies that helped make the country very rich during the height of its power.
智慧小補帖
Ornate. Crunchy. Turmeric. Delightful.
以上节目是由活用空中美語製作。活用空中美語雜誌，請洽詢全國各大書店。如欲索取試聽教材，請來電02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上網查詢，網址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net